What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. And in this video I'm going to be doing my top 5 middle linebackers heading in to the 2023 NFL season, and continuing this series. Without further ado, let's begin. So middle linebackers, guys who usually play in coverage regardless of if it's a 3-4 scheme or a 4-3 scheme. So yeah, and usually they are kind of considered the quarterback of the defense. So without further ado, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 5, I have Roquan Smith. Now, Roquan Smith got traded from the Chicago Bears to the Baltimore Ravens halfway through last season, near the trade deadline. Roquan Smith, he has kind of burst onto the scene over the last few seasons. Last season, through the Bears and the Ravens combined during the year, he had 169 tackles. He had 4.5 sacks. He had 3 interceptions. He's been to 3 straight Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, and before that, 2 second-team All-Pros. Roquan Smith, a little more of an underrated player throughout his career. And to look at some advanced, statistics here, all these statistics I'm about to mention are according to Pro Football Reference. Roquan Smith, when in coverage in 2022, allowed a 71% completion rating among quarterbacks, which, is pretty good for a linebacker. And then quarterbacks' passer rating when throwing in his direction is 78.1. That is very impressive. So he's been very good in coverage, along with being a very good tackling machine. Roquan Smith, one of the premier linebackers in the NFL right now. Coming in at number 4, I have Nick Bolton, who I believe is one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and maybe the most underrated defensive player right now in the NFL. Now, Nick Bolton has only been in the league for 2 years now with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a second-round pick in 2021 out of Mizzou. Look, Nick Bolton, since he's came to the Chiefs, has been a tackling machine. This guy, this past season, had 180 tackles, and the year prior had 112 tackles, but didn't even play or start in 5 games. Nick Bolton, this past season, 2022, had 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. He also had that. He's also had some clutch moments. He had that touchdown in the Super Bowl, the scoop and score that he ran back. He had that touchdown that he ran back in the Week 18 game last year in 2021 that helped the Chiefs secure a first-round bye, or not a first-round bye, but he helped secure the win against the Denver Broncos in 2021. So he has had some clutch moments throughout his career, along with all these tackles. And if you look at his, and this is also according to Pro Football Reference here, him in pass coverage in 2022, he allowed an 82% completion percentage, which isn't that amazing, but a 92.6 passer rating for quarterbacks, which, for a quarterback, that's about average. But when throwing in a linebacker's direction, that's pretty good for the linebacker. Nick Bolton, great coverage linebacker, fast and flies around the field, and like I said, he's a tackling machine. This guy's been one of the more underrated players. He hasn't gone to a Pro Bowl yet. He hasn't been a first team or even second team All-Pro yet. And like I said, the numbers speak for themselves with almost 300 tackles in his career already. Coming in at number 3, I have the old Bobby Wagner, but still, a great player, obviously. Bobby Wagner, one of the greatest linebackers of all time, a top 10 linebacker of all time, to 9 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, a couple of second-team All-Pros, or no, more than, he's had 6 first-team All-Pros, and several second-team All-Pros. Bobby Wagner, obviously, like I said, one of the top guys of all time, but, in recent years, maybe he is no longer that elite guy, but he is still playing at a high level. I mean, with the Rams this past year, he had 140 tackles, he had 2 interceptions, and in coverage, he was still pretty solid, something that throughout his career wasn't really his thing. And it's almost kind of like he's gotten better as the years have gone on here. An 87 passer rating this past year with the Rams. Now, obviously, he was with the Seattle Seahawks for the first 10 years of his career, and now this past season he went to the Rams. Now he is going back to the Seahawks, which is fitting. He was like one of the last members of that Legion of Boom team, and now he is back with the Seahawks, and I expect him to have another, Bobby Wagner type season of 120 plus tackles for the year. Bobby Wagner is still playing at a high level. Coming in at number 2, I have Levante David. So Levante David at number 2, and Levante David, another guy who's been around a while, 11 years now in the league with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and all 11. This past season he had 124 tackles, no picks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery, 3 sacks. Levante David, another guy who's been a great tackler, and he's been a fumble-causing machine. Not as much this past year, but he's been a guy who's caused a lot of fumbles in his career. Quarterbacks, when targeting him in 2022, 90 passer rating, 75% completion rating. Pretty good for a linebacker, but Levante David's one of those more, established, one of those, veteran linebackers who's been elite for a while, and I still think he is, near the top of the top linebackers in the NFL, and that's why I have him coming in at number 2. Coming in at number 1, I have Fred Warner. I don't think much of a debate here. I think Fred Warner is definitely the best, middle linebacker right now in the NFL. Fred Warner, been with the 49ers since 2018. He has he's coming off of a 130 tackle season. He's been in the last 3 years. He's had 2 first-team All-Pros and 2 Pro Bowls. He had an interception this past season, 1 forced fumble, and in coverage, quarterbacks had a 73 passer rating when throwing in his direction, and only a 60% completion rating. Very great coverage linebacker stats right there. Fred Warner, I think he is undoubtedly still the best, middle linebacker right now in the NFL, and the Niners have him there. So those are my top 5 middle linebackers heading into 2023. I have corners left to do, and then safeties, and that will be the end of this series for this upcoming season. Comment down below what you guys think about this top 5 ranking that I just did, and the other ones will be coming out soon. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and other than that, I will see you guys next time.